We have a number of folks who want to share some stories and some memories, but to begin with, I want to speak on behalf of Bishop Mark Andrus, who sends his love and his best wishes. He was already committed to be up at the Bishop's Ranch this weekend. And so he sent this letter and asked that I read it. He writes, "We append the honorific Venerable to the name of archdeacons in the Episcopal Church. The roots of the term venerable includes the idea of sanctity and the due respect of saints, especially after the attainment of great age. The Reverend Deacon Dawson is not an archdeacon, nor is she by any measure aged. Yet I think she deserves the title venerable. Over 30 years of service as a deacon, based in the congregation of Resurrection Pleasant Hill, is an astonishing record in this time of transience and ever-shortening ministry tenures. Barb, however, has done much more than clock in years of service. She is a compassionate and also courageous presence who has been an equal part of the ministry team at Resurrection with the lay leaders and the priests there. As she comes to the end of her service at Resurrection and is open to new arenas of ministry, I honor Barb as a deacon and a Christian I admire and care for greatly. Venerable, truly. Bishop Mark Andrus." And so let us raise our glasses to the Venerable Barb Dawson. And with that, I'd like to invite Bruce forward to share a bit more of his love.
Thank you, Liz. Well, I think you all know that I think Barb's pretty cool. And so I want to say one or two cool things about her, and then some what I think are interesting things about her. And maybe some of you know this. This is kind of a serious thing, but I got to say it because it's so true. Barb Dawson is one of the hardest workers I have ever been around. You all need to know, and I think you do, that she has, throughout her whole ministry, had a full-time job as a partner in a property management firm. And I can't tell you the times that she goes from work to church and back to work. And I especially remember those late nights and early mornings that Barb and I would be at a hospital. And by early mornings, I mean like 3 in the morning with someone. And then I would go home and crawl into my warm bed and sleep as long as I wanted. Barb probably got home just in time to brush her teeth and get to work. But I so admired her just commitment, but also all the time and energy she just freely gave to this church. It was just amazing. And she's just such an amazing worker. So anyway, that's all, and VBS, all that stuff, take that. I don't want to go on too long. Now, here are some things that I think we should chronicle about Barb. Have you ever noticed on a Sunday when Barb is trying to communicate with acolytes that she has hand signals? I have yet to understand them, but you know, she has like her program here, and she'll be going, and then she'll look at me and she'll go kind of like, and I feel like I'm a batter waiting for, looking at my third base coach to pick up the signal. And it was just hopeless at times. So that's a way of acknowledging that, Barb, I never really understood the signals, but thank you for trying to help me. I really appreciate it. Barb is a master at herding cats. And I confess to being one of the biggest cats that she had to herd. And that makes me think of another serious thing I want to say, and that is Barb's ministry with the acolytes here at this church over those 32 years. Barb just took that on, and she had to deal with some real characters like my sons. And she really seemed to enjoy working with those young people, and I think it was a great testament to the way that kids are included here in this church. Barb was just great with the acolytes, which leads me to try to correct something, a myth or a story that circulated around this church for a number of years, that Barb Dawson and I lit an acolyte on fire at a Good Friday service. Okay, here's the truth. The acolyte caught on fire. Kids, don't worry about this. We put her out very, very quickly. And the service continued with solemnity and the smell of burnt hair wafted through the whole church. But that was fun, and memorable, but no intentional thing. We were responsible with that one. Another thing about Barb is Barb really does have a great sense of humor. And my favorite thing to do is to see her start to lose it. Something will go wrong in church and she's trying to correct it, and all of a sudden she starts getting red, and she starts shaking, and she gets tears in her face. She takes things in stride, and Barb, I've always appreciated that, because I know how organized you are, and I know it must drive you, did drive you nuts working with me, but you were really good, and I loved it when you started laughing. And to her sense of humor, some of you may know that for many years, Barb Dawson and Laura Janello, who I know wish could be here today, the three of us did a lot together. And I just had the hardest time getting their names straight. I'd call Barb Laura, Laura, Laura. I don't know what I was doing at the time. And one day I started to call Barb Laura, and I caught myself in midstream, and I came out with Larb. And from that moment on, when I just couldn't decide which one I needed to talk to, I just said Larb. And it's not a very nice sounding name at all. But to both of their credit, they both thought it was okay, and they humored me and went along with my inability to get their names straight. But I'll always think about Larb periodically. Sorry, Larb. I do want to point out that as many of you, I love these decorations on the table, these SC colors. And as you know, Barb is an SC alum, and I have to say one nice thing. Nice thing about SC alum. Barb is the nicest, least obnoxious SC alum I have ever met. I want to point out, David, you're not too bad, but I much prefer being around your wife when it comes to sports or anything like that. And then one quick final thing, as you know, Barb is well, as I said, she's really outspoken, and truly, Barb, I value that. But that means that, Barb sometimes can be pretty feisty. And I believe, did someone say you received greetings from Ed Kineski? Ed Kineski was a seminarian here at this church years ago, and Ed, before he went to seminary, was a police officer in Southern California for many, many years, and we loved Ed. And Ed had a very strong personality. Barb has a very strong personality. And there was one Sunday that I remember going into the sacristy, and there was Barb and Ed, kind of toe to toe, back and forth, very dignified, but neither one giving ground. And I thought to myself, man, I should sell tickets to this event. This would show people you can have disagree and be very forceful about it. And I don't know who won Barb, but I know that was it. Barb. Yeah, okay, Barb. And then my final little comment about Barb is that I think, do many of you know that she doesn't like Amazing Grace? Do you know that? Well, Barb doesn't. And I used to enjoy funerals where we would have to sing Amazing Grace. And I would look at Barb, and you'd never know she didn't love it. She'd just be singing it with her usual gusto. But after one particular funeral, I believe it was, she said to me, you know, Bruce, if you're alive when I die, and you're at my funeral, and you allow people to sing Amazing Grace, I will come back and haunt you. And Barb, I've been thinking about that. And you know what? I can't think of a better person I would rather have come back and haunt me than you. So if I'm alive, which is probably doubtful, but if I am, and if I have anything to say about your service, you just never know what I might do. I love you.
Thank you, Bruce. Kathy, would you please join us? It's a feast of people coming back. Good thing. Thank you. Where's Barb? There you go. I first heard about Barb actually many years ago when I was an associate at St. Timothy's. Barb was the mysterious deacon at Church of the Resurrection who used to pick up and deliver the molds for the Nicholas Day cookies. And I could never understand for the life of me how Church of the Resurrection could hang on to a deacon for such a long time, because I had never met her. Then I came here and had the privilege of getting to know and work with Barb. And I realized then, Barb, why it is they held on to you so tightly for 30-some years. Barb was always, for me, one of those people who you knew you could depend on, who would just fill in the gap or lead when necessary and follow when that was appropriate. And especially when Bruce left, of course, Barb became my rock, actually, the one who I knew I could partner with, and it would be okay because Barb was here. Personally, I'm not thrilled with the color of the flowers.
Me either.
Bruce had nice things to say about Barb as a USC alum, but... Well, Barb and I actually, I'm a UCLA Bruin myself, so I would prefer blue and gold there. But one thing I will say about Barb, though, is she is very strong-minded, but she's also a very good sport. We used to make an occasional wager over the big game. Thank God I didn't do that this last fall. But one of my favorite memories of Barb, actually, in that regard, was we wagered that whoever team lost the game had to wear the hat of the other. So that was the year that UCLA was like 2-9, something like that, and they beat the Trojans. So Barb graciously, talk about amazing grace, graciously wore a UCLA hat. And I think she, I don't know, there might have been a little bit of a smile there, but I was afraid to go out into the parking lot. But really, Barb, what I'd love to say is, it was just a blessing for me to be able to partner with Barb in ministry in a couple of different capacities. And we started out as partners in ministry. It means a lot to me, Barb, that we ended up as friends. And I know that will just go on and on and on. I just wish you many blessings in whatever adventure lies ahead. I hope to be able to be part of that with you as your friend. So, God bless you. Love you. Dennis. Yeah, you. Surprise.
our daughter was one of the acolytes when Lincoln was set on fire. They will never forget that day. So, it is my pleasure to talk a little bit about Barbara in terms of working with kids and the acolytes especially. And by the way, back when my kids, and all four of my kids, by the way, were acolytes here, but when the first two, Lainey and Darcy, were just starting to be acolytes, there was a term for Barbara that was, very heartfelt, and that was the Holy Terror. And I'll tell you at the end how that turned out, because it turned out very good for my kids that she was that way. But the important thing was that Barbara gave them the idea that there was a way to do this that was right. There was a way to be here on time, get things done, etc. And Bruce was talking about the hand signals, but the acolytes also had the eye signals. And so those counted also. So I asked Barbara a couple of questions, and some of the things that she told me were, all the kids over the years are special to me, and they feel back to you the same exact way. It's nice to be around long enough to see how their lives progressed, is how Barbara feels. And let's face it, these kids that she started working with are in their teens, their 20s, their 30s, and now their 40s. And so Barbara has, knows them and has watched them grow, which is just wonderful. She also feels that the other people in the church were important, but the kids all had a connection to her. And that's when I talked to a few of the kids, by kids, they're adults now. But that's what they said, was that the connection was with her. And what Barbara said was it's fun to see them develop relationships and friendships. She also, by the way, really appreciated Laura Janello's ideas and her leadership, because Laura was really an important part of the whole kids world, and so Barbara and she worked closely together. She also said, I cared about the people and they cared about me, and that is so true. Now here's the interesting thing. Barbara grew up in Utah, where women were not allowed to be priests and girls were not allowed to be acolytes. So when she got here, she immediately became a deacon, and she immediately started having girls become acolytes, which was amazing. Because I remember when we first got here, and two of our daughters became acolytes very quickly, it seemed like there were more girl acolytes than boy acolytes for at the beginning, which was just an absolute delight. So that was just wonderful. So when I said the Holy Terror, and then I talked to one of my acolyte friends, my daughter Lainey, and she said, she trained us to do our best. We didn't want to disappoint her. And that's how they felt, and that's how they grew up. And that's incredible. So, bless you.
Gary, please come on up. Thank you.
When Gary asked me to recall and talk about some memories about Barbara, I told her that I would talk about the plays that we have presented here. The first play that we presented was Family Portrait, about the last 3 years of Jesus' life, when a prophet has no honor in his home country. Jesus does not appear in the play, but his brothers resent the dishonor he is bringing to the family. The play was presented on Broadway in 1939, starring Judith Anderson as Mary, in the time when religious plays still attracted audiences there. Nancy Baker played Mary in our church production. But one of the most memorable performances was Bruce Smith as the fishmonger. I always asked Bruce to be in the play and found a small part that did not require a lot of rehearsal. Someone early on in the rehearsal time brought Bruce a dead fish to wave about. And although it was kept cold for weeks, it became quite smelly by the final performance. For our second production, I gathered people together to discuss what play we would present and to bring examples of those plays. Arthur Bevan brought 3 plays from the British Theatre, including Murder in the Cathedral, If Pigs and I Could Fly. We might pull that off. Arthur has gone back to England, and he did many fine things for our church, but theater advice was not one of them. Instead, I suggested the Thornton Wilder play, Our Town, which Arthur thought was lightweight, and he did not act in it. It turned out to be a very suitable play for our parish, and Jeff Strathmeyer played the stage manager in all 3 productions, the last one in 2013. Barbara played Emily in our first production, and Tim Rep played George. They were both a little long in the tooth for those parts. And Tim's mother, God rest her soul, told Tim that he was too fat to play high school. But Barbara was that same blonde beauty that she has always been. And the last scene, when Emily returns from her grave and talks to her mother about why we do not really look at each other in our life, that scene was golden. At rehearsals, the cast always circled up for prayer at the beginning, and the cast member would offer that prayer. I believe that idea was started by Laura Gianello. I still remember Barbara's prayer of thanks when she expressed gratitude for all of the proceeds going to charity. We did 17 productions and raised thousands of dollars for outreach. But the real riches were in the hearts and the life of the people of our parish. I want to say one other thing about Barbara. We did a production called Windows and Mirrors. It was a lot of scenes from the theater. A window is a place where you look out to see life. And a mirror is a place where you see the reflection of life come back to you. We did songs from Les Miserables. The choir dressed in French costumes, and they sang, what's it called? You know what it's called. And Barbara sang, I Dreamed a Dream. And it was a beautiful song, very attractive, wonderful production. Jeremy was in one of those plays when he was 11. He was in I Remember Mama. And when he came back to the parish many years later, he said, do you remember me? And I could not remember him. And he said, I was in I Remember Mama. And then I remembered who Jeremy was. Well, a few weeks ago, or so, he was cleaning out some things in the office for Liz's arrival, and he found all of the films that we made of all of those plays. And I noticed there is kind of a rumor around about me that I get people to do things that they don't want to do. And I would like to say that I don't operate that way. I bring people together and say, who wants to be in the play? and there are a few parts missing. So I go and stand by the people that I think would do it. And I remind them of the talents that they have. And I get people to do costumes. I get people to go on stage who think they never wanted to go on stage. And I'm going to stand by Jeremy one of these days and say, Jeremy, you know to have that last production of 2013 of Our Town, and I would like you to present that some night, and to invite people to come and look at it, and to pay donation, and it will go to the food bank or something good. And I will stand by him until he says, okay. When I did try out, before I go away from that, I would like all the people who were in the 2013 production of Our Town to stand proudly. Now I want Barbara to come up and stand beside me. It's all good. And I would like all people who have been in any production at this place to stand and to look toward Barbara. She's one of those families. And to, with your thoughts coming toward her. Everybody who's been in a play, there's some more of that there. To send your thoughts toward her for all of the joy and the life and the light that she has brought to our parish. And Jeremy, last but not least. During our church's annual stewardship drive, we hear members of our parish speak about why our church is important in their lives. For me, one of the most important things that make our church special is the people that are inside of it. But there are always people who can have profound effect on you. And for me, that person is Barb. She, at only 8 years old, I met Barb and her family when they first relocated here from Utah, and Scott and I went Cub Scouts. Both Dave and Barb were active in leadership along with their parents. When it was time to complete our Dawn country badges, it was Barb who was charged with throwing a bunch of 9 and 10-year-old boys together, including Scott and I, here in this church, to learn about faith, fidelity, and citizenship. Barb, with your guidance, you sowed seeds of faith in all of us, and set the stage for us to comprehend where in our lives God was present. Soon after, the seed that was planted for me, it began to sprout and grow. Because of this first experience, I wanted to be here in this place. So most Sundays, I would be passing through the car along with Scott and Jim, and I began attending services with the Dawson family. And here, God was present for me. Then, when I wanted to become an acolyte, Barb guided and taught me, as she has with all the kids in the last 32 years, how to properly be in service in our faith. Barb, with your guidance, I fell in love with our liturgy and my faith deepened. Well, that seed kept growing. When I made the decision that I wanted to be baptized, and after being counseled by Barb, and Barb assuring my very Protestant parents that yes, we were Catholic, we just weren't so Catholic. I was brought into the body of Christ by Barb with the sacrament of baptism. Barb, with her guidance, I realized
And in part because of Barb, I was able to participate in church events, like I Remember Mama, where I found my love for theatrics. Also, thank you, Gary, for giving me the part. And with theatrics, some might say I have a natural predilection for that. Right, who knows? Then, as often happens, there was a time that I stopped coming to church. And I thought that maybe I was too cool for church and God and such. Trust me, I was real cool. And during that same time, I realized that I was gay. And being able to fully understand something that was so innate in me was at one time natural, yet utterly terrifying for me because, as so often happens, I was bombarded with all sorts of negative information around me. The one that stuck with me most was that because I'm gay, that I would somehow be separated by God, or separated from God. But with a good defense up, as all young adults and teenagers have, I resigned myself that this was true and went on with my life. But a few years into adulthood and close to Easter, I had this deep, overwhelming need and desire to be present with God. And on Good Friday in 2000, I found myself walking through the doors of this church. And there was Bruce, Barb, and Laura. There's a theme here, right? After services, I had a private meeting with Barb. Not one that I had planned to have, but one that was desperately urgent. I had to come out. I had to confess to her that I was now someone that would be forever removed from the presence of God, and I realized that I was lost because of it. Well, wasn't I surprised to be told these things very matter-of-factly? That Barb is really good at that. One, I was still a child of God. Two, I was loved by God no matter what, if I was straight or gay, and that the love of God is unconditional if we want it. And three, as an adult, I may find my way in another place to stay, but this place will always be my home. Barb, with your guidance, I was shown the unconditional love and acceptance we are given by God, and realized just how sacred that is. And I did for a time find myself in another space, and eventually, as life happened, I found myself with no real church in the inherently call mine. Yet in early 2012, after the passing of my grandmother, I turned to the only place that I could think of to help my family through that time, and it was the Church of the Resurrection. And it was probably record time and speed between my phone call to the office and a return call from Barb. How comforting to hear a familiar voice on the line at such a tragic time that can all at once calm and counsel. Barb, with your guidance, I found the comfort that is given to us by God when we experience the death of someone that is close to us. And not long after that, I found myself in a place that was dark. Grief often does that. And I needed to be with God and with people who knew me. And these 8 years later, here I am. Now this is my story and my relationship with Barb. But each of us has a story, a life-changing experience. From something as simple as a simple conversation with reassurance to some weird college football rivalry thing I still don't get. Right. And as a teacher to a child learning the faith, or a comforter for someone in a time of grief. Barb has been there for these moments in our lives. They have impacted and imparted on us friendship, smile, laugh, tears, admiration, and most of all love. So Barb, recalling a conversation this fall that we had when we discussed your leaving this place and the effect that it would have here on each of us, I personally said to you that I am here because of you. You were quick, as always, to tell me that no, I am here because God has called me to be here. That is true. But at these pivotal moments in my life and in other people's lives, you were the conduit to transmit that call. So yes, I am here because I was called by God. But each time there was a call, you got the call. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to do some visual testaments to the goodness of Barb Dawson in the form of a slideshow that Jeremy, I think, is going to throw you around and make happen. Thank you.
Turn the lights back on. Thank you. So we have a few things, a few tokens. Carrie, you come on up too. That we would like to offer to you. The first is a gift of indeterminate size. This is a very fake check that stands in for what will become a very real check, which is a gathered gift from the people of Resurrection, wishing you well and great adventure in all that is next. So that is still coming together. But here's a stand-in.
I feel like to publish it.
We've also been working on a memory book for you. For any of you who haven't seen this or haven't had a chance to write in it, there is still opportunity to do this. This is like the indeterminate gift. It's not done yet either, but you'll get this shortly, but it has all the special memories that people have written, stories and photos, and it's going to fall apart if I open it. But it also has this special mosaic that is part of our church. So if you haven't seen it, let's not do that. So we're excited to gift this to you, but we're not quite done with it yet. So all the special memories we're sharing with you.
Thank you. Thank you for all that skinning.
But we do have one completed gift. One of three ain't bad. So off of the slideshow, Pat was gracious enough to actually produce a photo book of memories for you. So one of them out to you as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My big fear, once I decided that I was leaving, was what to say when I left. So I've thought of probably 500 different scenarios of what I would say, and I would start crying so hard I couldn't do it. So here we go. I just have to say thank you. There's nothing really much more to say. I've had the very best job in the diocese, in the very best place, and there's nothing more that anybody could ask for. And that's because of all of you and all of those who have come before that are not here anymore. And as I told somebody at some point, I feel, when I look out in the congregation, I kind of feel like I'm at the haunted house ride at Disneyland where their little specters are in your chair, you know, and they're all the people who aren't here anymore, who have impacted my life. And you have impacted my life so much more than I yours. So, thank you. I cannot say it more heartfelt. I'm going to miss you all. Thank you.
Everybody can remain standing. After every service that we are here for on Sundays, and every special service that we have through any time of the year, Barb always closes with "Go in love and peace to serve the Lord. Thanks be to God." So it's time for us to do that for her. So let's dismiss this event today and let her know that. Barb.
Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.
Thanks
be to God.